Have you ever felt like you are trying your best to do everything right? You're trying to stay cool, calm, and collected, yet everyone around you seems to just be doing things to try to get under your skin. Sometimes you feel like you're a passenger in your own career, just bending and waving at whatever your boss decides that day or whatever your coworker decides to do or say about you and towards you. You feel like everybody else has control over your emotions and how you're feeling that day, and it's leaving you stressed and completely exhausted. Most of us think that when people finally get it, when they finally wake up, that's when things are going to change, right? That toxic workplace, that annoying coworker, if they would just shift, then oh my goodness, wouldn't your life just be so much easier? But here's one thing that really changed my perspective on things that people don't often take a look at. What you don't change, you choose. What you don't change, you choose. If you're choosing to stay silent in a culture of disrespect, then that's the culture that you are choosing to exist in. If you're choosing to let a bad meeting dictate how the rest of your day goes, destroying your family dinner because you're frustrated and annoyed, then that is a choice that you are making to let your work interrupt your family time. But today, that choice changes. You have made it through this set of videos, and if you're just catching me in video 5, hit the pause button, head over and check out that playlist because you're going to want to make it through this entire pause method before you get to this last step. From here, you have been able to pull back. You have looked at yourself, your body, your emotions, what's going on underneath, and you have taken back control and allowed yourself to settle. Now, at this point, you are ready to make a meaningful shift to say, that's it, I am ending this cycle. You are stepping into the empowerment phase. This is where I am going to show you how to take intentional control back over this loop, back over your future. Today, we are finishing the pause method with E, empower. I am going to show you how to take back control intentionally so that you can move from being reactive to being intentionally responsive. But you can't empower yourself if you feel like you're still being drowned by the wave. So make sure to head back and check out that video. I'll link it above and in the comments below. Go check out the full playlist. By the time that you've reached this E, this empower stage, you should be at the tail end of that 90-second biological surge of hormones. The heat is starting to fade. Vision's coming back, thinking's coming back online. But at this point, you are in the danger zone. That danger zone is where so many of us then decide, you know what? I'm just going to avoid. I'm just going to let it go. Inaction at this point is a decision. If you don't consciously choose a new path right now, you are making the decision to continue bringing this situation into your future, continuing the spin out. This is where resentment starts building. The venting, the hidden avoider that we discussed earlier starts happening. And it can honestly go on for years. When a strong, emotionally reactive situation occurs, it can be really challenging to get those initial words out. Here, you might find yourself saying or doing things that you are going to end up regretting, just in that initial push to remove the discomfort, to get away from the threat. But your goal here is to continue allowing that initial flood of hormones to continue its final seconds of dissipating so that you can use your highest level of thought. By watching the previous videos, you already know that one of the best things to do during that moment is to settle, right? To do one of those exercises in order to allow your body, your brain, all of those chemicals and hormones to finally settle in your body and in your brain. Remember, your ability to feel is human. That's why people love you. That's how people connect with you, because of the broad range of emotions that you have. If you didn't have them, people would feel like you're detached. So it's important to remember that not every bad emotion, not every negative emotion is something that you want to get rid of. Anger can fuel a passion and action that leads people to do things for greater good, to make change, to make shifts that are so desperately needed. The important thing is to understand how these emotions are fueling your goals and your ambitions versus pulling away from them and learning how to harness them in a way that is going to benefit you in the long run instead of hindering your goals. So, how do you choose a path that's truly going to help? It starts with choosing your responses, responding in a way that is helpful and brings you closer to your goal versus lashing out or acting without forethought. When you're empowered, you're finally able to make these conscious choices, conscious decisions about how you're going to respond within that situation. You're able to choose your words appropriately to help you meet your goals. Instead of attacking your boss because of a threat to the power or security that you feel, you're able to calmly and respectfully ask for a time to meet and sit down and talk. You're able to prepare yourself to ask intelligent questions like, what does that mean for me and my team? Or what other options could possibly be available to us? And let's work together and brainstorm that. You are no longer a victim of this switch flicking. You are finally taking back control of how you respond to others, no matter if their reaction was or was not appropriate. Here is where you're not a bigger person because you're shutting down and closing down and not responding. You're the bigger person because you are acting with the emotional maturity that you expected them to have. Here, you are calling on your higher level of thinking to move through these conflict situations, as opposed to allowing the primitive part of your brain to take control over your future, which honestly, it doesn't deserve. If you are able to practice these 5 specific steps during that 90-second biological window, pull back, acknowledge, understand, settle, and empower. You stop being the person who leaks her emotions all over the people that don't deserve it. You start taking back that remote, sitting in that driver's seat, and deciding what your future, what your environments, what you as a person are going to be like to interact with, no matter what is happening around you. But I need to remind you of what we discussed in the last video. Doing something one time isn't going to shift anything, right? Not going to the gym or showing up one time and expecting things to change isn't going to do anything. The same goes for this method. The same goes for pause. If you decide not to employ this, then things can't change, right? If the first time that you go to do this, it's hard and it sucks, that's okay, because you're not going to get all of this right immediately. Don't let that inner critic, don't let that inner voice immediately tell you that this isn't going to work. This is something that you have to get used to. This is a very new way of doing it. It's like traveling to a different country and having to drive on the different side of the road. It's going to be slightly uncomfortable. It's going to be awkward. It's going to be weird, even if you know all of the steps. And I've put a link below to a free resource. Go and grab that. It lays out the steps for you so that you can print it out. You can have it with you whenever you need it. I know some people love just keeping it in the top drawer of their office. So when they get that angry email, when they're on that Zoom call, they can just pull it out and go over it, right? Super simple. But sometimes when our brains are shutting down, right, that flood happens, we're not thinking, oh, remember those videos that Crystal did? I should probably use those. So use that resource, write it down, put it on a Post-it note, and just try, just practice and find how this fits for you. Remember, what you don't change, you are choosing, and you deserve a better choice. Your family deserves the best version of you that you can possibly be, and let's be honest, so do you. No woman deserves to feel like the villain in her story. We all deserve to have the calm, the composure, the rational thinking, to be able to use the extreme intelligence that we have when situations go from 1 to 10. So knowing about this 90 seconds is such an amazing gift. But what you do with that gift, what is inside the packaging, that is what's going to make all of the difference. That's the gift that this pause method is, for you to start taking back control, for you to choose what your next steps are, for you to understand what is happening inside of you, and not with judgment, but with grace and care and compassion for yourself, to just truly understand, to know what's going on, and to discover more about yourself and what's important to you so that you can show up as the best version of yourself across every single one of your environments. Now it's up to you. It's up to you to make that intentional choice to make the shift. You should be so proud of yourself for finishing this entire set of videos. But if you're feeling like, okay, this is just the start and I know I need more support, check out the link in the comments below. And feel free to reach out to me for additional support and resources.